righty, here we go. Game 2, another Flyers After Dark special. It's Jason Myrtetus, and that shot of the ice is actually Brian Smith. Well, his computer, at least. And he is live at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. How's the Saddle Dome, Smitty? Did you go across the catwalk?
I did. If you're going through my Twitter account for this, you can see the scoreboard shot. So took a visit around. I have to walk over there to get to where Timmy and Fridge are from where I sit. So
they're on the other side of the rink.
They're on the other side, yeah.
Okay.
And I know there's another elevator somewhere in the building. That's what Coatsy used to take, because Coatsy wouldn't do the catwalk. But he, to whatever it might be, for most people, I don't have too much of a problem with it. So, I just wander over there, and I don't want to be out there when the fire goes off here. Like you can see on my side of the screen in the upper right corner, that floating Red Sea, that's a flamethrower, and there's another one on the other side. And I don't want to be out there when those go off. But other than that, I don't. Or the goal horn. But it's not too bad.
Yeah, you don't want to get lit up by the pyro like James Hetfield did way back in the day on that tour with Guns N' Roses. You don't need that. But the Flyers right back at it tonight. Quick turnaround. What time did you guys get into Calgary last night? Eastern time.
Well, we got into the hotel rooms about 2:15 to 2:30 Pacific or Mountain time. 4:30 Eastern is what it comes down to here.
So head on the pillow, 5 a.m. Eastern.
I'd say
roughly.
That. It's a weird situation, this trip, because everybody back home it's easy. All these games start at 10, but for the team and its travel, Vancouver was in the Pacific time zone.
Yeah,
we fly back east an hour and a half last night, switched to the Mountain time zone. So right now it's an 8 o'clock start here, and it's also 8 p.m. local start in Edmonton on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, the Flyers have to go back to Seattle, which is another hour and a half the wrong way. Yeah. And then that's back to Pacific time for a 7 p.m. local start on Thursday. So there's a little bit of time zone hopping here, but the Flyers are fortunate that it doesn't really affect them, I don't think, from a body clock standpoint, because the two games in the Mountain time zone are both 8 o'clock starts. If it were 7 o'clock starts, then you'd be all over the place in terms of what time is it, and all this stuff. But they lucked out a little bit with the way these games were timed.
Yeah, I saw some people on social media saying, well, they could have at least played one of these games on the weekend earlier. But the problem is it's back-to-back, and you got to have the turnaround time. You don't want to play a team – you don't want to play a back-to-back against a team that's not on a back-to-back and on 20 hours turnaround, puck drop to puck drop. It
right.
just makes it even – and then, like you said, too, you got to travel. They got it in – what are you going to play? So 8 o'clock Eastern tonight? And then getting to bed at 5, it just shortens everything. So it's not advantageous.
It's very easy travel, to be honest, because
this time of year,
this time of year it is, because when you're here in Canada and we're on these charter planes, you don't have to do security going from city to city within the country. So it was a very easy trip overall, but it's still late. 2:30 is still 2:30. But again, fortunately, it's kind of offset a little bit by this later start, and it's a little bit of an extra opportunity to get the legs back under you.
Yeah, and there's going to be a couple changes tonight in the lineup. Not a lot. Emil Andre has been recalled, but I was wondering if he would draw in tonight. He will not, but I imagine he will get one of the games on this trip. I mean, you could have just recalled Louis Belpedio if he was just going to sit there, but I think John Tortorella liked the way that Eric Johnson played last night. Frankly, I did too. I liked the way they defended last night, period, end of sentence, because in the second half of that game, I just didn't feel like they gave Vancouver much of anything. But kind of the two big storylines are, number one, the goaltender is going to be Ivan Fedotov tonight on the back-to-back. I think it was important, Smitty, to get him in there for a couple of reasons. I was texting with Boosh today, and he brought up a great point. First of all, it's a back-to-back, and you don't want to start running Sam Emerson out there in back-to-backs right out of the gate. And the other thing is, you want Fedotov to feel like he's part of the team and get into the rhythm, and he hasn't played in a while either. You got to do that.
Yeah. You definitely want to give him a look.
This is his job, right?
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to give him a look. The Flyers are going to have to find out what he is one way or the other, and the only way to find out what he is to play him, and this is the situation that you play him in. The situation that John Tortorella talked about during training camp where the goaltending kind of scared the crap out of him. Well, the first half of it, I think, proved like it's in a pretty good spot yesterday. There's definitely was not a whole lot you could complain about with Sam Emerson's game. So now it's going to be Ivan Fedotov's chance to give his first shot of the year, and we'll see what happens. Again, it's a situation where you're definitely not going to want to wear out your goalie too early, and it's a long season here. So get him in there tonight, let him see what he can do, and again, it's one of those slight question marks on this season for the team that they're going to have to kind of play through and see how it goes.
Yeah, I had a guy hit me on X earlier today, and he said, thoughts on Ivan Fedotov? Will he consistently keep games close? And my response was, I have zero clue.
Yeah, no idea.
I said, but I believe anyone who suggests they do know the answer to this question is just guessing. We're just going to have to see in time. That's the fact of the matter. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be as an NHL goaltender. I'm not judging him on 3 appearances last year. I know that.
Right. And equipment that didn't fit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, again, your hope. That first game was pretty good. Remember that first game he came in and, there was a bunch of hype and all that stuff, and I thought he looked pretty good then. That's what the Flyers want to see him harness. But, again, I think every goaltender, especially ones that come over from Europe, they go through an adjustment period here. We saw it here with Sergei Bobrovsky 15 years ago now. I mean, it's been a while. They go through a period of time where they look really good, then all of a sudden other teams start figuring them out, and then they start to look bad, and then they need to adjust and fix the things that other teams have figured out. And as long as Ivan can do that, then he'll be in a good spot. But again, the Flyers are going to have to put him in games and just see what he can do, and the hope is that he'll be able to respond.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. The way he deals with traffic and reads plays is going to be really, I think, the key. Those are the 2 elements I'm looking for in his game tonight. We'll talk about this more when we join our radio audience coming up at the top of the hour. But Jetlachenko comes out of the lineup, Bry, and in comes Noah Cates. And John Tortorella spoke earlier today. This is not punitive in any way. It's not a punishment for Jetlachenko. I tweeted out earlier in the day today that I think you're just trying to not put him in any situation that can overwhelm him right out of the gate, because if you get overwhelmed as you're just coming into this league, I think Jetlachenko is going through a lot of question marks in his own head. Am I an NHL player? Where do I fit in this league? He came in, they always come in doing everything they can to make a team, but I think the realistic element of him was, I'm probably not going to make this team in my draft year. Can I make it, next year? And all of a sudden he finds himself in this situation where he may make it in his draft year. And it's a situation where I think he's looking at it, and you don't want him to get overwhelmed, because then questions start to creep into your own head. So I think this is them protecting Jetlachenko from any doubt creeping into his mind, and just giving him little bite-sized pieces, Smitty, for Lachenko, not to give him the whole meal right away.
Right. Yeah. The internet needed a moment there. Apologies for that.
I can barely hear you. You got to get closer.
Yeah, I can barely hear myself now. I don't know why.
Maybe.
I'm not sure what just happened here, but a lot of things just went wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not getting your microphone. We're getting your computer.
Yeah, how's that? Does that sound better?
That is not any better.
Not any better.
So when you're at the oldest arena in the NHL, in the Saddle Dome, I'm assuming that's the oldest one, the internet's not the greatest, and things tend to get reset. So,
yeah, I'm not sure exactly, what's causing the mic issue, but I'll try to fight through it here. it's one of those situations again where this is something that is completely new, I think, to Kid, in terms of all this travel and the time zone changes and just everything that's involved. And it's certainly not anything stemmed from yesterday. It's just okay. Let's give him a break. Let's let him take a look upstairs and watch the game, and then I'm sure he'll be right back in there come Tuesday. So it's just no reason to rush him at this point.
Yeah, we're having a real hard time hearing you, Smitty. So we're getting ready to join our radio audience. Maybe what we'll do is just end the stream here, and you can pick us up on the radio. How's that work?
That works for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that. With the crowd noise, I can barely hear you. So join us on the radio right now on 93.3 WMMR. We're coming up right after the Ramones. Thanks for watching, everybody.